Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the RIA podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Holly Mazzocca from Bartlett Wealth Management. Holly, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Seth. Great to be on here with you today.
Great to have you here. Let's go back in time a little bit. How did you originally get into the industry?
I joined Bartlett back in 2015. I started my career in the private banking industry and then did a little tour over into the institutional management world and decided coming out of my MBA program that I really wanted to look at wealth management and going back to my roots of working with individuals and families.
Awesome. And then you took a journey. So why Bartlett?
Yeah, Bartlett was absolutely the right home for me because of the focus on the client and the servant leadership. Just really understanding the needs of the individual, of the family, and then also thinking about the other stakeholders, how we treat our colleagues, how we treat our community. We are really blessed with a very rich history at Bartlett. Our roots go all the way back to 1898. And we have tremendous examples of leaders who have really been instrumental in the greater Cincinnati community and instrumental in our business, and many families that we've worked for a very long time. So when I saw that longevity coming through, I knew that it would be a great place for me.
Awesome. So you teed me up. I got to ask. Tell me a little bit about the history going back to the 1800s.
Yeah, so the history dates back to when Benjamin Bartlett bought a seat on the New York Stock Exchange in the late 1800s, which is phenomenal. Bartlett was one of the first registered investment advisors under the 1940s Acts and really allowed us to continue to build the business. Throughout the way, we had both the brokerage and wealth advisory side of the business, the fiduciary side of the business. And throughout the course, later sold the brokerage side of the business and focused solely on the investment advisory side of the business. So we are a fee-only registered investment advisor focusing on total wealth planning, really digging into the life and legacy goals of our clients, and then bringing that to life through our investment selection process.
And you look great for being 126 years old.
I know, I age well. We found the fountain of youth. I will say that I do see it as my responsibility to carry the baton for Bartlett, carry the torch for this leg of the race. But our entire Bartlett team really thinks very long-term about what we are building today for the future and recognizing that we stand on the shoulders of giants.
That is awesome. Who is an ideal client for you at Bartlett now?
Our ideal client is someone who really wants more from their wealth. It's an individual who has 5 million or more, who's really thinking about what they want for themselves and their families. We also work with nonprofit organizations. So common theme, though, is really taking the time to step back and analyze the why. What is the why behind our wealth? What do we really want to do to make a difference? And what does that mean to us and to our family, to our organization? And then our team at Bartlett works really closely with the families to build the financial plan, to build that wealth plan of what we're going to do in the future, to help them work through really intense transitions. So sometimes those are personal transitions, retirements, loss of a spouse. Other times they're really exciting transitions like selling a business, launching a new endeavor. So working through all of those transitions and then bringing that to life through the investment management process.
What is your role at Bartlett?
I'm a president of the firm, and I am also a wealth advisor on the team. So in my role as president, I focus on the vision of the future, where we're headed. I also spend a lot of time thinking through the strategy of our offerings and working with our talented team members, building out the culture of our firm. And then as a wealth advisor, I love to keep that aspect of my role. I find it's really important to stay connected to our clients, to stay grounded, and to really understand what the needs of the families we are working with are today so that we can build the best offering in the future for them.
The 5 million in assets and up. is a nice number. How are you getting those folks in the door?
Yeah, so it's really focused on finding those people who will grow to that level over time. So not everyone has 5 million when they walk in the door. It's really thinking about that as our target client, but recognizing that we do have the ability to work with folks along the way so that they're making really smart decisions. And I think that's an aspect of where we've been able to find those clients is just being really truthful with our strategy and the types of clients who are a great fit for our firm. But it's really hand-to-hand combat. That's the way. We're not on any platforms or any referral platforms. It's just really spreading the word. We're in Cincinnati, Chicago, and Louisville, spreading the word in those locations around the service offerings that we have and really connecting with individuals through our advisors and through our marketing strategies and marketing campaigns.
Awesome. How are you? I know you talked about hand-to-hand combat. What is the firm doing in terms of marketing? Because you've grown an incredible amount.
Yeah. So, in terms of marketing, we have really focused on our digital experience and digital presence. We've also done a lot with events. And then I would say we've looked at those areas where we have a real strength in the technical expertise of our team. We do a lot of work with business owners and really starting early with a business owner when most of their wealth is locked up in the business, where there are not really assets to manage. And we're focusing on partnering with them to build out the plan for that business transition. And then eventually down the line, there's typically an opportunity to manage the wealth, but just thinking of that more from a planning only aspect. So the business owner clients have been great. And then we also have We Invest, Women Empowered to Invest. And this has been an area that I've really felt strongly about is making sure that everyone feels that they have a seat at the table. And historically, a lot of women have not always felt that way. So ensuring that we are building community and building opportunities for women to connect with each other, as well as to connect with our Bartlett team.
That makes a lot of sense. What are some of the most common issues coming up among clients that you're helping them solve?
A lot of it comes down to legacy planning and what is the right amount for gifting to children, for gifting to grandchildren. How do they want to make a true impact with their charitable giving? I think that it's interesting that you go your whole life and you're so focused on saving, saving. And we find that it takes a couple of years to really have people think about how they want to spend intentionally and gift intentionally. And so often they reach a point where they say, we know that we have enough for ourselves to live the lifestyle that makes us very happy today. Now, what are we going to do beyond that? And there's not easy answers to that. There's no one right or wrong answer to that. And oftentimes, different family members have different takes on what that right answer is. So, spending really dedicated time with families and time that isn't, oh, our hour is up. Let's continue this. It can be long conversations. It can take a long time to work through that and to know that this is an evolution and it's a process. I would say, though, certainly that legacy planning, that succession planning is one of the most important conversations that we have with our clients.
You talked about your work on the company culture as president. You've got offices in multiple states. How do you work on that culture with folks that you don't necessarily see every day?
Yeah, so we do a lot to maintain communication across the offices. Every month, I write a letter from the president that goes out at the very beginning of the month, letting everybody know the major projects underway, giving some shout outs to the team for some superstar efforts that are out there, making sure that we're being really clear with what the goals are for that quarter and breaking that out over time. We do a lot of cross communication via Zoom. We host meetings that are for the entire firm. And then once a year, we bring the entire team together for what we call our advance. Instead of calling it a retreat, we don't think of ourselves as going backwards, but we do a multi-day offsite where we're really advancing and thinking about the future. So some of that is strategy work and communication and planning for the year ahead. A lot of it, though, is just good old-fashioned fun and getting people to work together. So by those efforts, and then a lot of cross-office visiting, working on cross-office teams to serve clients or solve internal problems really helps our team act as one Bartlett.
You have achieved a tremendous amount of success for both the firm and the clients. What's your biggest challenge now?
The biggest challenge is really just continuing to find great talent who fits in with our Bartlett way of life. Our number one core value is teamwork makes the dream work. So we're very focused on hiring team members who are a great fit for the long-term focus of what we are building. I do think that our industry can become a bit myopic at times. The investment world is all focused on what has quarterly earnings done for me lately, and we're really trying to expand that time frame and think very long term for our clients, for our community, and for our colleagues who want to be here for a long time and building a wonderful career. And so the trouble is always just finding more great folks. So we do a lot to continue to invest in our team and raise up our team members who are growing with us while also creating plenty of space for people to join us along their career path journeys.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I really love solving problems, both problems for our clients and holding their hand when they have really exciting things happen. When you sell a business and you see the fruits of your labor, or when something difficult happens, when you lose a spouse, when you lose a child, and you're holding their hands through some of the hardest times of their life. Just being able to form that connection and see that the work that we do matters is really powerful for me. And the same is true for my team. I see the wins that we have in our team, whether it's welcoming a new baby to Team Bartlett, or whether it's seeing someone achieve a designation they've been working really hard on, or move to a new role and take on a promotion. I love to see those wins, and those individual wins really become shared team wins.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable. For our folks watching and listening, what is the best place for them to go to learn more about Bartlett and all things Holly?
Great. So www.bartlett1898.com is our website. We'd love to see you there. We're also on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Awesome. This has been Seth Greene for the RIA podcast with Holly from Bartlett. Holly, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Seth. Great to be with you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.